Amara quickly learned that life on the streets was nothing like the stories she read in books. In stories, heroes always seemed to find help at the right moment. But in the real city, people looked away when she begged, shops chased her off, and even the children her age treated her like dirt. The city was beautiful in the daytime, towering buildings, colorful markets, busy streets. But at night, it was a jungle where only the strongest survived. Days turned into weeks. Amara's belly shrank from lack of food. She ate scraps when she could find them, half-rotten bananas from the market, crust of bread from dustbins, and sometimes what canned strangers offered her. One afternoon, after going 2 days without food, Amara collapsed near a bus stop. Her vision blurred, and her legs refused to carry her further. A hawker passing by with a tray of oranges stopped and looked at her. "Are you sick, small girl?" the woman asked. Amara tried to answer but only managed a weak shake of her head. The woman sighed, peeled one orange, and handed it to her. "Eat before you die here. But tomorrow, find something to do. Life will not feed you for free." Amara nodded gratefully, sucking the juice with trembling hands. She promised herself she would find a way to survive. Amara began working small jobs in the city. She washed plates in a buka, local canteen, in exchange for leftover food. She carried loads for traders in the market for a few coins. Sometimes, she sold sachet water on the streets, running between cars under the hot sun. It was hard work, but each day she saved a few naira in her notebook, which now doubled as her secret purse. At night, she counted her money carefully, dreaming of the day she could afford to return to school. "Education is important," she whispered to herself, repeating her teacher's words like a prayer. But the streets were not just about hunger, they were filled with dangers that waited in every corner. One night, as she tried to sleep under a bridge with other homeless children, a group of older boys approached. Their eyes were sharp, their laughter cruel. "See this fine girl?" one of them sneered. "New face on the streets. She will fetch us money." Amara's heart raced. She knew what they meant. She grabbed her bag and ran as fast as her legs could carry her. The boys chased her through dark alleys, shouting and laughing. Just when she thought she would be caught, she squeezed through a narrow gap between two buildings and hid in the shadows, holding her breath. Her body shook with fear, but she whispered fiercely, "They will not break me. I will survive." That night, she didn't sleep. She stayed awake, watching the shadows until dawn. Over time, Amara met other children like her. They were a group of runaways, orphans, and abandoned kids who stuck together for safety. Their leader was a boy named Chaik, about 15 years old. "You're new here," Chaik said the first time he saw her. "If you stay alone, you won't last long. Join us. We share what we have." Amara hesitated, but hunger and loneliness pushed her to accept. Life with the group was tough. They begged, shared scraps, and sometimes fought over food. But for the first time since being thrown out, Amara felt less alone. She had people to talk to, people who understood her pain. Chaik told her, "On these streets, you must be smart. If you sleep too deep, your shoes will be gone. If you trust too quickly, your money will vanish. But if you're strong, you'll live to see tomorrow." Amara listened carefully. She learned how to survive, but deep inside, she knew she didn't belong there forever. She still dreamed of classrooms, books, and exams. One evening, while helping a woman sell bread by the roadside, Amara met Mrs. Daniels, her old teacher. "Amara." Mrs. Daniels gasped, almost dropping the loaf in her hand. "Is this really you?" Amara froze, shame burning her cheeks. She nodded slowly. "My goodness," the teacher whispered. "What happened?" Tears filled Amara's eyes, but she forced herself to smile. "Life happened, Ma." Mrs. Daniels bought the bread and pressed extra money into Amara's hand. "Listen to me, child. Don't give up. You are still that bright star I thought. Hold on to your dreams. Her words lit something inside Amara, something stronger than hunger or fear. She clutched the money tightly, whispering, I will not give up. That night, as she lay under a shade with the other street children, Amara stared at the stars. I can't remain here forever, she thought. If I continue like this, I will die like the others. But if I fight, maybe, just maybe, I can rise. She opened her notebook and wrote with the stub of a pencil. One day, I will return to school. One day, I will succeed. One day, Mama will see me again. She didn't know how or when, but she made a silent promise to herself that she would find a way back to the life she once dreamed of. The city roared on, indifferent to her struggle. But in that moment, beneath the stars and the noise, Amara's spirit burned brighter than ever before. And destiny, though still far away, had already begun to notice her. The city of Lagos never slept. Cars honked, traders shouted, and music floated from shops at every corner. But within the noise, Amara's life was changing bit by bit. For months, she worked with Mama Ngozi, the roasted corn seller. Amara's hands became calloused from fanning firewood, her skin darkened from the sun, but her spirit grew stronger. Each night, after counting coins, she secretly saved a small portion in an old tin can she hid beneath the shed. Her dream was clear: school. One morning, while arranging corn, the same man in a suit appeared again. This time, he smiled warmly when he saw her. "You're still here, Amara?" he asked. "Yes, sir," she replied, bowing her head respectfully. "Do you still want to go to school?" Amara's heart skipped. "Yes, sir. More than anything." The man introduced himself as Mr. Adewale, a secondary school principal. He had noticed her diligence and determination the first day they met. "Come and see me at my school tomorrow," he said. "I will help you." The next day, Amara dressed in the cleanest clothes she had. Mama Ngozi gave her transport fare and whispered, "Go, my child. God will bless your effort." When Amara arrived at the school, she was amazed. Tall buildings painted cream and green, children in neat uniforms laughing, teachers carrying books, it was a world she had longed for. Mr. Adewale welcomed her into his office. "I will allow you to study here," he said, "but you must promise to work hard. Education is not a gift to waste." Tears filled Amara's eyes. "I promise, sir. I will never waste it." He arranged for her to get second-hand uniforms and old textbooks donated by other students. For the first time in years, Amara sat at a desk, holding a pen, writing her name on a piece of paper. Her hand shook, but her heart burned with joy. Balancing school with survival was not easy. In the mornings, she helped Mama Ngozi at the market before rushing to class. In the evenings, she returned to fan the fire, sell corn, and wash plates. Some classmates mocked her torn shoes and faded uniforms, but Amara ignored them. She studied at night under a dim kerosene lamp, fighting sleep as her eyelids grew heavy. Sometimes she went to bed hungry, but she never stopped reading. Her teachers noticed her brilliance. In class, she always raised her hand, always eager to learn. Soon, whispers spread through the school, "That girl Amara, she's different. She's special." Just as things began to look brighter, life tested her again. One evening, as she returned to the shed, she found it empty. Mama Ngozi was gone. Her things had been cleared out. Neighbors said Mama Ngozi had fallen sick and gone back to her village. Amara's heart sank. The woman who had given her shelter and food was gone. For days, Amara wondered, uncertain of where to sleep. She thought of giving up, but the words of Mr. Adewale echoed in her mind, "Education is not a gift to waste." She refused to let despair win. She continued school, sleeping in corners of classrooms when no one was watching, or under a bridge when she had nowhere else. Her hunger grew worse, but so did her determination. During exams, Amara performed so well that her name was pinned on the school board as one of the best students. Teachers praised her, classmates looked at her with new respect, and Mr. Adewale proudly said, "You see, Amara, your past does not define you, your choices do." Amara smiled faintly, though deep inside she still battled loneliness. She had no family, no true home, but she had something stronger now, a future waiting to be built. And destiny, though delayed, was preparing something bigger than she imagined. Years passed, and the city that once seemed too big for a homeless girl began to recognize her name. Amara finished secondary school with the highest grades in her class. Mr. Adewale, proud of her perseverance, connected her to a scholarship program funded by wealthy philanthropists who supported brilliant but underprivileged children. When Amara received the scholarship letter, she held it in trembling hands and whispered, "Mama may have thrown me away, but God did not." Amara entered university with nothing but her determination. She studied business administration, knowing she wanted to build companies, not just work for them. While others partied, she studied late into the night. She sold small snacks on campus to support herself, just as she once sold roasted corn. Many times, she faced mockery. Some said, "That poor girl can never make it. She has no family, no money, no connections." But Amara only smiled. She had learned long ago that pain can either break you or build you, and she chose the latter. By the time she graduated, she was at the top of her class. After school, Amara struggled to find work. For months, she submitted applications with no reply. Some nights, she cried herself to sleep, wondering if her journey was for nothing. But then she remembered her younger self, cold, hungry, homeless, and told herself, "I didn't survive all that to give up now." So she started small. With the little savings from her scholarship stipends, she opened a roadside food stand. She cooked, served, and managed it herself. Slowly, her business grew. Customers loved her discipline and kindness. Within a few years, Amara expanded into multiple restaurants across the city. She reinvested wisely, ventured into real estate, and later started a foundation to help homeless children return to school, just as she once longed for. The same city that once ignored her now placed her on magazine covers, calling her the woman who rose from the streets. One afternoon, as Amara inspected one of her restaurants, she saw a familiar face. Her mother. Time had not been kind to her. The once proud woman looked weary, her clothes faded, her hair streaked with grey. She froze when she saw Amara, then tears spilled down her cheeks. "Amara," she whispered, "my daughter." For a moment, old wounds burned in Amara's heart. She remembered the night she was thrown out, the hunger, the cold, the loneliness. Part of her wanted to turn away. But another part, the stronger part, remembered Mama Ngozi, Mr. Adewale, and all the people who had shown her kindness when she least deserved it. She walked up to her mother, her voice steady. "I forgave you a long time ago, Mama. You may have abandoned me, but your rejection made me stronger. I became who I am because I learned to fight." Her mother broke down, sobbing. Amara gently held her, not as a helpless 13-year-old anymore, but as a woman who had risen from ashes to glory. That evening, Amara stood before a crowd of children her foundation supported. She told them her story, not with shame, but with pride. "Life will test you," she said. "Sometimes the people you love most will abandon you. Sometimes the world will turn its back. But you must never give up. Pain is a teacher, and hardship is fuel. If you hold on, if you work hard, if you keep believing, you can rise higher than anyone ever imagined." The children clapped, their eyes shining with hope. And as Amara looked out at them, she realized her life had come full circle. She had been the homeless child in the shadows, but now she was the light guiding others out of darkness. Her scars were no longer marks of pain, they were proof of survival.